Kim Kardashian and Kris Jenner's social media photos featuring Meghan Markle and Prince Harry have been quietly removed.
Harry have been, well, we say quietly deleted, but the world is talking about it. What's going on?
The morning show is talking.
With Harry and got her picture taken. And I'm just going to be honest, she didn't look good in either shot.
The Hollywood gossip machine absolutely exploded when fans spotted something shocking. Within just 24 hours of Kris Jenner's massive 70th birthday bash, photos of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle completely vanished from both Kim Kardashian's and Kris Jenner's Instagram accounts. Not quietly archived, not hidden away, but totally scrubbed like they never even showed up to the star-studded James Bond-themed party. Here's the thing. While every other celebrity guest stayed proudly posted across the Kardashian social media empire, Harry and Meghan's images were surgically removed. And get this, sources are now revealing this wasn't some innocent cleanup or technical glitch. This was full-scale damage control that's left their brand in absolute shambles. The deleted photo showed Harry looking rough and completely disheveled, while Meghan appeared awkwardly positioned next to Kim Kardashian in what insiders are calling the most uncomfortable celebrity interaction of the year.
Why did Kris Jenner and Kim Kardashian delete the photos of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle? Harry and Meghan attended Kris Jenner's.
But the timing, that's where this gets absolutely brutal. While Harry was living it up at a Hollywood party, his brother Prince William and father King Charles were back in Britain at Remembrance Day ceremonies. The contrast couldn't have been more devastating or publicly humiliating. But here's where it gets absolutely insane. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and smash the like, because what we're about to uncover will shock you. Nobody even knew who invited them to this party, and what happened behind those mansion doors is way worse than anyone imagined. Turn on that notification bell and let's dive in. Let's talk about the setting for this whole mess, because it couldn't have been more exclusive or more spectacular. Jeff Bezos's $175 million Beverly Hills mansion served as the backdrop for what Hollywood insiders are calling the most lavish birthday celebration of the decade. The Amazon mogul had transformed his sprawling estate into a James Bond wonderland,
including one where the As Ever founder flashes a big smile as she places her hand on Jenner's back. However, the photos with the Duke,
complete with casino tables, martini bars, and enough security to protect Fort Knox. Kris Jenner's 70th birthday bash wasn't just a party. It was pure Hollywood status on full display. Bruno Mars commanded several $millions just for his private performance. The guest list read like a who's who of entertainment royalty. Beyoncé arrived through a private entrance, avoiding the paparazzi entirely, while other A-listers like Paris Hilton posed confidently for the army of professional photographers stationed throughout the mansion. The level of luxury was absolutely staggering. Sources revealed that the catering alone cost more than most people's annual salaries, though ironically, half the guests didn't touch the food due to their strict diets. The mansion's grounds were covered with thousands of dollars worth of Bond-themed decorations, creating an atmosphere that screamed Hollywood excess at its finest.
Social media is buzzing after some star-studded photos mysteriously disappeared from Instagram, and they involved none other than Meghan Markle.
But here's where the story gets particularly wild. While real A-listers were whisked through VIP entrances and treated like the royalty they are in Hollywood terms, Harry and Meghan allegedly had to run the gauntlet of paparazzi outside like they just crashed the party. The contrast couldn't have been more embarrassing or telling about their actual status in the celebrity hierarchy. Now get this. Industry sources are whispering that nobody at this elite Beverly Hills mansion even knew who had invited Harry and Meghan. Guests were quietly asking each other how they'd secured invitations to one of Hollywood's most high-end gatherings. Picture this scene unfolding in real time. Hollywood's most powerful players are mingling in Jeff Bezos's opulent mansion when suddenly whispers begin circulating through the crowd. Who brought them here? The confusion was so obvious that insiders describe an almost comedic scene of A-listers playing detective at their own party.
Here's everything you need to know about the photos of Meghan Markle and Prince Harry at Kris Jenner's 70th birthday that were deleted by Kris Jenner and...
Sources close to the Kardashian family revealed that even Kris Jenner herself was initially puzzled by their presence. The birthday queen had personally curated every single invitation, yet Harry and Meghan seemed to have materialized without any clear connection to the evening's inner circle. Some guests speculated that Oprah Winfrey might have extended the invitation, but eagle-eyed observers quickly noted that the media moguls +1 was clearly Gayle King, not the couple. The awkwardness intensified when party organizers realized they had no protocol for handling uninvited guests who happened to be former working royals. Do you quietly ask them to leave? Do you pretend everything's normal? The situation was awkward as hell for everyone involved. Industry veterans described the atmosphere as thick, with tension and confusion you could cut with a knife. While established invitees moved effortlessly through the celebration,
We're about to go to war with Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. Listen, I know if you guys heard. What's up, Sister Squad? How you doing?
Harry and Meghan appeared to be obviously overcompensating for their questionable presence. Witnesses report that Meghan seemed really pushing for photo opportunities, as if she needed to prove she belonged among the A-listers surrounding her. Harry was reportedly handing out business cards, like he was networking at a startup conference, not attending one of the year's most exclusive social events. When the images first surfaced on Kim Kardashian and Kris Jenner's Instagram accounts, royal watchers immediately knew why panic was about to hit. These photographs captured moments that no amount of PR spin could fix, showing Harry and Meghan in ways their team definitely didn't want the world to see. The most telling shot showed Prince Harry looking absolutely exhausted and disheveled. His eyes were glazed over, his appearance totally rough as he posed beside the birthday celebrant. Sources describe him looking pretty off.
The couple posed with the tennis legend, with Harry sporting a red poppy pin, seemingly to commemorate Remembrance Day events.
A far cry from the polished military guy he used to be. The contrast between this party Harry and the disciplined soldier from his earlier years was brutal for his public image. But the real bombshell was Meghan's positioning in her photograph, with Kim Kardashian. Body language experts are now analyzing what they're calling the most uncomfortable celebrity interaction captured on camera this year. While Kim appeared relaxed and confident in her natural habitat, Meghan seemed stiff and out of her element, practically forcing herself into the frame with an intensity that just screamed trying way too hard rather than natural friendship. What makes these images particularly wild is the timing. While Harry was photographed making his way through a Hollywood party with a cocktail in hand, his brother Prince William was attending Remembrance Day ceremonies back in Britain. The visual contrast between the two brothers that weekend couldn't have been more stark or publicly embarrassing.
Because I would think, and I think this is also true, that people say the Kardashians don't want Harry and Meghan to overshadow them. Well, if you don't
get this, Harry chose to wear a Remembrance Day poppy to a Kardashian birthday party. That sacred symbol of military sacrifice showing up at a celebrity celebration filled with champagne toasts and dance music definitely raised eyebrows. The mix-in of something so solemn with pure Hollywood excess didn't sit right with a lot of people. The technical quality of the photographs also worked against the couple. These weren't grainy paparazzi shots that could be dismissed or explained away. Professional party photographers had captured crystal-clear images that left no room for interpretation or creative spin. Every tense moment, every weird interaction, every sign of trying too hard was preserved in high-definition detail for the world to analyze. Sources say the most problematic part wasn't just Harry's appearance, but how different he seemed from his former self.
Her spare, Prince Harry, are embroiled in a furious all-out war with the Kardashians.
The guy who spent years in military service was now caught on camera looking like he'd had a rough night at a Hollywood bash. The shift was pretty dramatic. Meghan's appearance in the photos told an equally tough story. Sources suggest she looked seriously out of place among Hollywood's elite. Her need to fit in was painfully obvious in every captured moment. The forced smiles and stiff positioning showed someone working overtime to belong in circles where being natural matters more than titles. The fallout was immediate. The timing of Kris Jenner's birthday party couldn't have been worse for Harry. While he was photographed raising champagne glasses at Hollywood's hottest event, his father, King Charles, and brother, Prince William, were back in Britain at Remembrance Day ceremonies. The difference was so stark that even Harry's biggest fans had trouble explaining it away. Remembrance Day is a huge deal, especially for someone with Harry's military background.
It's been revealed. Here's the reason why Harry and Meghan were deleted from Kim Kardashian and Kris Jenner's Instagram post.
For years, he'd shown up to these ceremonies with real respect and gravity. He'd served 2 tours in Afghanistan, founded the Invictus Games for wounded veterans. His whole identity was built around military service. So choosing a celebrity birthday bash over this particular weekend, that hit different for a lot of people. The images playing out across social media were tough to watch. King Charles was laying wreaths with tears in his eyes, honoring soldiers who'd given everything for their country. Meanwhile, his youngest son was caught on camera looking rough at a Kardashian party. The side-by-side comparison felt pretty brutal. Here's what really stung for the military community. Harry wasn't just skipping any random event. This was the day to honor fallen service members. Sources say people who'd served with him felt genuinely hurt by the choice.
The Kardashian clan decided that they did not want to be associated with Harry and Meghan's.
The guy who'd been one of them, who understood what it meant to serve, was picking Hollywood connections over showing up for his brothers and sisters in uniform. And then there's the poppy thing. Harry wore a Remembrance Day poppy to the birthday party. That symbol is sacred to military folks. It's specifically about honoring those who didn't make it home, seeing it at a celebrity bash with champagne and dancing. Didn't sit right with a lot of veterans. Some saw it as missing the entire point of what that symbol means. Military families who'd always had Harry's back started questioning things. Social media lit up with veterans asking how someone who talked so much about service could skip out on actually honoring it when it mattered. The hit to Harry's credibility in those communities was instant and serious. Years of building trust with veterans started falling apart as photos from the party spread online next to footage of the ceremonies happening in Britain.
And you notice that Kim is holding her stomach, and it just reminded me of all the mockery photos that were put together of...
People couldn't square the Harry who talked about military service being his life's purpose with the guy choosing a networking event over remembrance. This wasn't just unfortunate timing. It showed people exactly what Harry's priorities were when he had to pick between 2 different worlds. When those photos first popped up on the Kardashian Instagram accounts, insiders say things got pretty chaotic in Montecito. The images that were supposed to show them fitting into Hollywood instead exposed every insecurity they'd been trying to hide from the public. Harry was the first to realize just how bad the timing looked. His military background made him instantly aware of how those party photos would play against the Remembrance Day ceremonies happening at the same time in Britain. People close to the situation describe him as genuinely worried about the potential backlash from the whole thing.
Kim Kardashian has had enough. This complete debacle of Prince Harry.
But Meghan's reaction was even more intense and focused on totally different stuff. While Harry was stressing about optics, Meghan was furious about how unflattering she looked in the photographs. Insiders suggest she was particularly upset about the image with Kim Kardashian, where you could clearly see her struggling to look comfortable and natural. The desperation to insert herself into the frame was painfully obvious to anyone looking at those shots. The couple's different priorities during this whole mess created some disagreements between them. Harry wanted to focus on managing the fallout, while Meghan was obsessed with protecting her carefully crafted California lifestyle brand image. This disconnect about what actually mattered most led to some pretty tense conversations about how to handle everything. Industry sources reveal that Meghan personally reached out to the Kardashian family within hours of the photos appearing online.
He was being thrown at, as you know. He did not want Meghan and Harry there because he heard that Meghan has light hands. We know Kris.
People describe her approach as pretty demanding rather than asking nicely, with little consideration for how that attitude might be received by one of Hollywood's most powerful families. She pushed for the photographs to be removed immediately, acting like there was some sort of agreement about approvals. What makes this whole damage control attempt even wilder is that Meghan tried to use her former status as leverage. In these conversations, insiders say she brought up how things used to work for her, completely missing the reality that those expectations hold zero power in Hollywood circles, where earning respect takes years of relationship building. You can't just show up and expect people to follow your rules anymore. Harry's approach was more diplomatic, but equally frantic. He tried to frame the removal requests around respect for military traditions and Remembrance Day sensitivities.
Did Prince Harry and Meghan Markle crash Kris Jenner's big 70th birthday bash? It looks like that may have actually.
But that argument fell pretty flat when people pointed out that he'd chosen to attend the party in the first place instead of honoring those same traditions himself. The couple's desperate efforts to control the narrative only made the scandal bigger than it needed to be. Their demands for photo removal created way more headlines than the original images ever would have. People called it a textbook example of making things worse by trying to hide them. When you demand things get taken down, everyone gets more curious about what you're trying to hide. Listen, here's the thing about Hollywood. Titles don't mean much without the earning power and connections to back them up. That evening at Jeff Bezos' mansion became a masterclass in understanding exactly where Harry and Meghan actually rank in the entertainment world. And honestly, the lesson was pretty brutal. The most telling part came through watching how different guests were treated throughout the night. While Beyonce was whisked through private entrances with dedicated security,
Anybody was there. It was a real A-list event. Harry and Meghan turn up, James Bond theme, so Harry's wearing his
avoiding paparazzi entirely, Harry and Meghan had to deal with the public entrance like everyone else. The difference couldn't have been more obvious or publicly embarrassing for two people who thought they'd get automatic VIP treatment. Get this. Beyonce didn't just get special treatment because she's famous. She got it because she's built an empire worth billions. She controls her own production companies, influences global fashion trends, and her tour dates can impact entire city economies. That's real influence. Meanwhile, Harry and Meghan showed up with their biggest achievement being a documentary series. Industry veterans will tell you this world operates on a simple rule. What have you done for me lately? Background doesn't get you far here. Success gets measured by box office numbers, streaming stats, and earning potential. You either bring value or you don't. The evening's guest list served as a harsh education.
Kris Jenner and Kim Kardashian have deleted their photos from their Instagrams with Harry and Meghan on Kris's birthday party.
Tech moguls like Jeff Bezos wield influence that spans multiple industries and continents. The Kardashians have built media empires worth hundreds of millions through decades of strategic business moves. Music legends like Bruno Mars command multi-million-dollar performance fees for a single night. Meanwhile, Harry and Meghan's biggest recent project was a documentary about their own story that did okay, but wasn't exactly groundbreaking television. Insiders say Meghan got a front row view of authentic power dynamics that night, and it wasn't pretty. Her attempts to position herself among entertainment's elite fell flat with people who control major studio decisions and global media narratives. These are folks who greenlight billion-dollar productions. They're not impressed by past credentials, they're impressed by results.
Very angry that that was ignored. Well, the other theory is that the boot might be on the other.
Paris Hilton was at that party too. Here's someone who could have easily coasted on her family name and wealth, but she didn't. She built her own businesses, created a DJ career, and turned herself into a media mogul in her own right. She understood that your family name might open the first door, but you better have something valuable to offer once you're inside, or that door closes real quick. What made this whole lesson even tougher was realizing that many A-list celebrities were keeping their distance throughout the evening. It wasn't obvious or dramatic, it was subtle. While the Kardashians might tolerate Harry and Meghan's presence for novelty value, established stars like Beyonc maintained careful separation all night. No photos together, no extended conversations, nothing that would link their carefully cultivated images to the couple's situation.
Featured, but Harry and Meghan didn't. And is it a bit of, let's say, party regret?
The message was pretty clear. You protect your image by being selective about who you're seen with. Association matters. If you're linked to people who bring complications instead of opportunities, it can hurt your own projects and partnerships. People who watch this stuff closely suggest this reality check explains a lot about the couple's behavior since then. Their increasing need for positive media coverage makes more sense when you realize they're trying to prove they belong in circles that haven't fully accepted them. Their willingness to take on various projects. That's what happens when you realize you need to build credibility from the ground up. And their obvious frustration with how they've been received. That comes from the gap between expectation and reality. They probably thought moving here would mean instant acceptance into elite social circles. Instead, they're learning that those circles are earned through years of relationship building.
That newspaper has learned that the Kardashian clan are upset after Harry and Meghan.
Successful projects, and proving you understand how the game is played. The toughest part was understanding that their past might be working against them, rather than helping. Being known for what you used to do instead of what you're doing now is a weakness in this industry. And in a business that's obsessed with what's next, being stuck in yesterday is basically career poison. Instead of being an asset that opens doors, constantly looking backward is starting to seem more like baggage that keeps them stuck in a narrative that the industry isn't particularly interested in. The entertainment world has moved on. The question is whether they can too. The photo deletion at Kris Jenner's birthday party wasn't just a one-time thing. This is part of a much bigger pattern that's been building for a while now, and people in the entertainment world are definitely noticing Harry and Meghan have developed a reputation, and unfortunately for them, it's not the kind that opens doors.
Before we get into why the pictures were put on Kim Kardashian.
Insiders are now talking pretty openly about how challenging it is to work with the couple. We're not talking about normal celebrity requests here. We're talking about extensive lists of requirements that would make even the most high-maintenance stars seem easygoing. Every photographer who works with them reportedly receives detailed instructions about prohibited angles, banned lighting setups, and forbidden poses. Here's what makes this really problematic. These are people who've spent years perfecting their craft and understand how to make people look their absolute best. But when you hand someone a list that's micromanaging every aspect of their work, it stops being a partnership and starts feeling like you don't trust what they do. And get this, several high-profile photographers and stylists have quietly started refusing future projects with the couple. Not publicly because nobody wants that kind of drama, but privately they're telling their agents, thanks, but no thanks.
Like royals, Kardashians don't forgive easily. As one LA publicist put it, you can ghost the royals, you cannot.
In this town, word travels fast. When top-tier talent starts passing on work, other people notice. The behavior doesn't stop at photo shoots either. People say Meghan's team has been known to request pre-approval of guest lists before she'll confirm attendance at events. Not just who's going to be there, but where people will be seated, what conversation topics might be, and even what other attendees are planning to wear. Event organizers who've dealt with this describe it as exhausting and not worth the hassle. Think about that. You're hosting an event, you've carefully planned everything, and then someone's team starts dictating terms. Most hosts have a pretty simple response. They pull the invitation, It's just not worth it when you've got dozens of other celebrities who'd be thrilled to attend. Here's the thing about how real A-listers operate. They work with the people around them as partners. Sure, they might have preferences.
Social media mystery tonight. Photos of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle that were posted to Kris Jenner and Kim Kardashian's Instagram.
But there's a difference between having boundaries and trying to manage every single aspect of every interaction. When you work with established stars, their teams communicate clearly, they trust the people they're working with, and they understand that success here is built on mutual respect. Harry and Meghan seem to be approaching every situation like it's a potential threat. Sources describe them treating photographers like they're paparazzi, trying to catch them in bad moments, when in reality, these are hired creatives who want them to look good. It's this fundamental mistrust that's making things nearly impossible. Veterans of the entertainment business say the couple is trying to recreate the tightly managed media environment they used to have. That system worked in that context, but this world doesn't operate that way. The entertainment business thrives on creative freedom, on trusting talented people, and on building long-term connections based on mutual respect. When you try to impose restrictions that don't fit the culture, people just quietly choose not to work with you again.
Pin this down with a briefing to Tom Sykes of The Royalist explaining.
What's really striking is how this contrasts with other celebrities who've successfully transitioned from different careers. Look at Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. He came from wrestling, built connections by being known as one of the easiest people to work with, and now he's one of the biggest stars on the planet. His success came from trusting talented people and being genuinely easy to collaborate with. What's happening now is predictable. The word has spread through the tight-knit community of creatives and event organizers. When their names come up in meetings or planning sessions, people are weighing whether the headache is worth it. And increasingly, they're deciding it's not. The most damaging part might be that the couple doesn't seem to realize how much harm they're doing to their own careers. Every extensive requirement list, every complicated negotiation, every pulled invitation is...
Pictures of Meghan Markle and Prince Harry have been canceled out from Kris Jenner's and Kim Kardashian's social media.
Another connection lost in a business where relationships are everything. You can't rebuild trust once it's gone. This town has a long memory. People remember who's easy to work with and who makes everything complicated. And right now, Harry and Meghan are building a track record that's going to follow them for years. The behavior that started with that photo deletion is just the tip of a much bigger iceberg that's slowly sinking their dreams of making it here. The fallout from Harry and Meghan's photo deletion stunt has seriously damaged their connection with the Kardashian family. And here's why that matters more than you might think. People close to the whole thing say Kris Jenner was really upset about being told what she could and couldn't post on her own social media by two people she barely knew. Kris has built her empire on managing her family's
photos of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle from Kris Jenner's star-studded 70th birthday bash have suddenly vanished from Kim Kardashian's
narrative and image for decades. Someone trying to tell her how to run her own accounts? That didn't sit well at all. Kris has serious clout in this world. She's turned her family into a multi-hundred-million-dollar brand. She doesn't take direction from anyone, especially not from people who haven't proven themselves here. When you try to boss around someone like that, you're basically saying you don't respect everything they've built. Kim Kardashian's reaction was even more pointed. She was genuinely offended by the whole thing. The idea that her social media posts needed approval from guests at her family's private party, that crossed a line. Kim has transformed herself into a legitimate business force with successful beauty lines, revolutionary shapewear, and major influence spanning fashion and media.
The Sussexes dumped by the Kardashians. It's over. Now the scandal surrounding Harry and Meghan's
Being told what to do on her own platforms by newcomers wasn't going to fly. What makes this especially rough is the Kardashian family's extensive network throughout entertainment. Their connections reach into every corner: streaming platforms, production companies, fashion houses, social media, influencers. When you're on good terms with them, doors open. When you've annoyed them, those same doors start closing. The ripple effects are already showing up. Multiple high-profile people who saw the drama are now questioning whether they want similar headaches at their own events. Here's how it works. When you throw an event, you want it to go smoothly. If inviting certain people means dealing with post-event complications, most hosts will just quietly move on to other options. The couple's track record as difficult guests is spreading faster than any positive publicity they could generate.
Harry actually wore a poppy to the party that you can see on his lapel, which is a symbol for that remembrance. But I can't help but think if...
In a town this size, word travels at lightning speed through publicists, event planners, and stylists. Think about the strategic mistake here. The Kardashians could have been valuable allies. They understand media management better than almost anyone. They've weathered countless scandals, and they know how to stay relevant decade after decade. Instead, Harry and Meghan managed to turn possible allies into people who will probably never work with them again. And it wasn't over something major, it was over party photos that would have been forgotten in a week. Other stars are watching this and taking notes. They're seeing how quickly you can go from being an interesting addition to the social scene to being someone people actively avoid. And they're definitely factoring that into their own decisions about who to invite and who to keep at arm's length. This business runs on connections. Who you know matters. Who trusts you matters.
This party this weekend has taken the shine off this very important occasion. It's not every day that you turn 7.
When you burn a connection with a family as plugged in as the Kardashians, you're losing access to hundreds of connections that stem from that one source. Here's the reality. Kris and Kim can afford to be selective. They get a dozen requests every week from people wanting to collaborate. They can say no to people who don't understand how to operate in their circles. Kim's calendar is packed with projects and partnerships. She doesn't need to make time for people who cause complications. Every time Harry and Meghan make requests that don't align with how things work here, they're confirming that the whispers about them being difficult are accurate. And once that sticks, it's nearly impossible to shake. What's particularly unfortunate is that this was all avoidable. A simple conversation, a request instead of a directive, an understanding that they were guests in someone else's space, but coming in with expectations.
No wonder Kris Jenner deleted the group photo with Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. No one realizes these.
That everyone should bend to their preferences. That was never going to end well in a town where respect has to be earned. The connections Harry and Meghan are damaging aren't just with the Kardashian family. They're with everyone who watches how they handle these things. Every publicist, event planner, producer, and agent who hears these stories is making mental notes. And those notes are going to matter when decisions get made. The grace period where people were willing to give them the benefit of the doubt, that's over. Now they're being judged by the same standards as everyone else, and by those standards, they're not measuring up. So there you have it. The photo deletion scandal that exposed way more than just bad party pictures. Harry and Meghan's experiment out here is falling apart right before our eyes. Everything is collapsing in real time. Sources say they're having serious disagreements about strategy.
Meghan Markle poses with Kim Kardashian and embraces Kris Jenner in photos from the...
Netflix is getting frustrated because their content just isn't connecting with audiences. The streaming giant thought they were getting compelling stories, but they're dealing with a couple who wants to micromanage every frame while delivering content. People don't want to watch. Brand partnerships that seemed like sure things are quietly disappearing. Companies are backing away because the association isn't worth the risk. When you're selling products, you need ambassadors who bring positive energy, not ongoing drama. If partnering with someone creates more problems than profits, you move on. Here's what's really brutal. Their earning potential is shrinking while their lifestyle expenses keep climbing. That mansion doesn't pay for itself. The security team, the staff, the upkeep all requires serious money coming in. And right now, those revenue streams are drying up faster than they can find new ones.
Meghan and Harry at Kris Jenner's birthday party, only that Kim Kardashian deleted them for...
Their social media engagement has tanked too. Remember when their announcements would break the internet? Those days are gone. Now they're having trouble generating headlines that aren't overshadowed by new drama. The public's patience has run out. People have moved on. The fundamental problem is they completely misunderstood what this move would mean. They thought they could keep the automatic respect and status, but lose all the responsibilities. Turns out, that's not how this works. They expected celebrity status to just transfer over. That was spectacularly naive. This business doesn't care about your background. It cares about what you can deliver and whether you understand how the game is played. On all 3 counts, they're coming up short. Now they're facing an impossible choice. Admit the whole thing has failed or keep pushing forward on a path leading to irrelevance and...
So we finally got pictures of Harry and Meghan inside of the Kris Jenner 70th birthday party.
Financial strain. Neither option is great. They're caught between 2 places where they don't truly belong. They walked away from one life, cutting those connections thoroughly. But they haven't successfully built a new one either. They're floating in this weird in-between space, not fitting anywhere. The Kardashian photo deletion will probably be remembered as the moment everyone could see this wasn't working. It was such a small thing, just some party photos. But the way they handled it exposed all their insecurities and misunderstandings about how power works here. The entertainment world has moved on. In a business obsessed with what's next, being stuck in what you used to be is career poison. They had every advantage, name recognition, global interest.
Of anybody, except for Harry and men. I don't have a problem to bashing men because
Initial goodwill from an industry that loves reinvention stories. But they've squandered it through unrealistic expectations, behavior that pushes away the people they need, and a refusal to adapt. What's left now? A couple isolated from both situations, watching their plans crumble while they figure out what comes next. The party's over. The photos are deleted. But the damage? That's permanent. What do you think? Can they bounce back from this, or is it too late? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, hit that like button, smash subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss what happens next. Thanks for watching.